Welcome back to Mr. Stanish's studio. We are now on our last part of our non-objective. Today we're going to be painting our design. Supplies that we're going to be using is our non-objective drawing, our watercolor paint, water, paper towel, and brushes. If you don't have that, you may also use crayons, markers, or colored pencils. So as you can see, I have myself set up to start my painting. Now, if you remember my other video, you may also use some other techniques for watercolor, such as your flat wash, dry on dry, gradient, wet on dry, dry on wet, and lifting. Remember, watercolor can be difficult. It can be very unforgiving, and it's also hard to control the water and the pigment together. Right. Now that I have everything set up, I'm ready to start my painting. The first painting that I'm going to start with is my warm color design. I'll be using my red, yellow, and orange. As you're watching the video, pay close attention to how I'm using my brush, how I'm showing different watercolor techniques, and how I am working with my water and my paint together. Working with those two are going to be very important how I can show different values. If you're not sure on how to use these techniques, re-watch the watercolor techniques found in Google Classroom. Now, with my monochromatic, you have to remember I'm only using one pigment. Okay? It is one color plus tints and shades. Now you may mix a black with your blue, but in order to get your blue lighter, I just add more water. So as you can see, I am strictly just creating my different values with the amount of water I'm using for each section. Now for my cool colors, I will use different techniques such as lifting, mixing, and still using my gradient. Now, you may mix on your pan, but you will see in how I will mix directly on there. I chose to create a blue-violet background, so you will see in how I will place my blue down and then I'll take my violet and I kind of mix them together as I'm painting. Now, you will also see in how there are times that I'll have like a pool of water or paint and it's a little bit too much. What I'll do is that I'll dry my brush and then I'll come back into it and I'll soak it up, dry it, and then I can come back, push that paint around a little bit more so it's not a big mess. You have to remember that as you're painting with watercolor, if you have one area that is still wet and you start painting with another color, you've got to be careful coming up to those edges because I've done it and it happens to everybody, is that they'll bleed together and I'll make that mistake that you don't want to have. If it does, just grab a paper towel and absorb it or lift it off the paper and you should be all right. Now that I'm done, I'm going to finish up by outlining my work with a Sharpie. This is optional. You do not have to do this. You can use your paint, a marker, or any other type of pen that you may find in your house. You may also take in mind that if you don't want to outline every design, you don't have to. So if you decide to outline one of your designs and not the other two, that is fine, completely up to you. You may also use different line variation. I chose that just because I didn't like having everything the same weight, so I decided to make some of my lines a little bit heavier. Now that we're done, let's upload our images to either our folder or our non-objective journal. Once again, it is completely up to you, whatever is the easiest way for you to upload your images. So this is my final composition. It's the end of our non-objective videos. Thank you for listening and watching. Take care and stay healthy.